Trump's orders to dismantle education department sparks outrage. See you in court. Teachers unions and okay. First of all, the teachers unions are not teachers unions at all.
They need to go away.
Teachers unions are satellites of the Bolshevik Party.
Drink.
Period.
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
All right, now hang on. Let's talk about these unions for a minute here.
Do it.
All right, now, did the unions need to exist at some point? Yes, they did.
Why?
Big business was getting out of control, doing all kinds of crazy shit to people.
Why did teachers unions need to exist?
Let me get to that.
Okay.
All right. So when it comes to the teachers unions, they basically followed right along with the other big unions in industry, like the auto industry and what have you, because they wanted to have equal rights and make sure like bad stuff didn't happen to teachers, which I am good with. I don't want to see bad things happen to teachers. I respect teachers.
No, I don't want to see bad things happen to good teachers.
Yes, correct. But I have, like, I'm college educated. I paid for it with, on my own time. And I remember having to go to classes that they were making me take and pay for myself and taught by complete lunatics. Yeah. And there wasn't anything that could be done because they had tenure.
Yeah, it's the same thing. My daughter had to take a class, and I shit you not, this is actually the class, African Music and Its Effects on Culture Today.
Yeah.
She's like, why do I have to take this class? What on earth do I have to spend my money for
on this bullshit? Class? Yeah. And it's the same thing in high school. Mm-hmm. There's some high school there wasn't that many in my high school. There's I can think of two that probably should not have been teaching, but did because they were tenured. One of them was a raging alcoholic, and I'm not going to say his name because it is Mr. what Jordan. It is. Well, he had his situation.
There were two of them. There was the one history teacher.
No, I'm talking there was the guy who was teaching the swim team. I don't remember.
Yeah.
The one arm that was all fucked up.
Right. Yep. No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he was a little.
He showed up just drunk out of his fucking mind. You could smell it on him, like from across the pool.
Yeah, as a swim teacher.
Yeah,
alcohol in the swimming pool. Those make
not a good thing.
Yeah,
not a good thing. But there's nothing they could do because he was tenured.
Yeah. There were a couple of teachers there that really, really needed to go. There was one teacher who was a little bit free-handed with the young female students.
Yes, I remember him.
Yep.
But here's two things that need to change. Number one, throw the fuckers out of school who shouldn't fucking be there. Yes. If you're a fucking criminal and you're basically such an asshole that you're impacting the education of other people in the school, you should be expelled. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Yep. And there should be a phrase. There should be a phrase in your contract. There should be a line in your contract that says these things nullify tenure. Period. This is non-negotiable. No arbitration. Nothing. These things,
correct,
nullify your tenure.
Well, I'm just talking about some of the students that go to school that are just raging fucking assholes, and you can't do anything to them. You can't suspend them. You can't really put them on detention. It's not like they care anyway because they got their phones. You can't do anything to them.
Not anymore.
If you are such an asshole that you're that much of an impediment to the other students in the school, you should be fucking expelled.
Yep.
Straight
Expulsion
up.
used to be a thing.
Yeah.
There were 2 or 3 kids at Berkeley that got expelled. There was this kid, Brandon, that was just a shitbag who just came to school stoned all of the time.
Yep.
And was just filling a seat and was useless. And he got so many suspensions that they were like, this is ridiculous. You're just expelled. You're out of here, man.
Yeah, there was one that was just a savage fucking bully ever since I moved into the middle school in Anderson.
Yeah.
Put up with him all the way through high school. Years later, his son was bullying one of my sister's kids, and I found out about it. So I happen to be in the middle school parking lot. I watch my sister and her husband leave, get in their car and drive off. And I say, douchebag come out with his kid. And I get out of the car and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on with your son and my nephew? And he's like, well, boys, we both knocked his ass right out. And I looked at this kid. I go, in 5 years, that's going to be you, motherfucker. I thought for sure I was going to jail, but nothing ever happened.
Well, he was a bully. He's not going to go running to the cops because bullies are cowards. I know it wasn't.
If you are that much of an asshole,
yeah,
you need to be expelled. Fuck you. I'm sorry.
There was a kid at Berkeley, and I know that my bully wasn't your bully, and I'll tell you why. First time I encountered him, I ended up feeding him to a locker a whole bunch of times because I was little, but I was in gymnastics and I was a distance swimmer, which means I had all kind of core power. And I was new to the school, and this guy thought he could come at me because I was a punk rocker. And I just ran at a locker full force with his body and made him make strange noises because I got so much force into that locker.
Yeah, fuck him.
And then later on, a couple of months later, he tried to come at me again. And this guy picked up people all the time. I jammed him into that locker because he was beating up a girl in the hallway.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
We were in the upstairs hallway and he came at me and I landed a spinning roundhouse on the side of his head in the hallway. And the hall monitors are like, hey. And he's on the ground, like flopping.
Fuck him.
Hey, you guys break it up.
But that's the thing though. Like in some ways,
you might know who this is. He wrapped himself around a telephone pole 2 years after high school.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
And his name was Ryan. Last name Ryan, I believe. Oh, well, things happen. But here's the thing. If you're like going to a shitty school district and you're selling drugs and you're doing violence and you're doing all gangster shit, you need to be expelled. Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry, but there's probably kids in that school that want to learn, want to be there, deserve a fair shake, even if it's a shitty fucking school. Kick these sons of bitches out of the fucking schools. Fuck them.
We're sliding off on a tangent here, though.
I'm sorry.
You're 110% right, but we're sliding off on a tangent. Now, we've shown you all of the stats. We showed you that nice little chart and everything. This here, listen to this. Trump's move was long trailed so much that Randy Weingarten, she's the one at the head of the school's teacher unions, put out her statement the day before the order was signed. Michael Mulgrew, president of the United Federation of Teachers, another Marxist organization, said, "We will join our national union of public education allies to protect students and educators." Elizabeth Warren, the Democratic senator, also known as Pocahontas,
or Hiawatha,
said from Massachusetts, she said, Trump is telling America's public school kids that their futures don't matter. Telling American school kids that their futures don't matter. Wow. Madam Representative, I give you the chart. Your words are meaningless. We award you no points. May God have mercy on your soul.
Holy smoking Joe Frazier.
She really said that.
I don't think I have that button here queued up.
I got it. I got it. But yeah, if you want to hit that button, feel free, Jimmy.
Nope, doesn't look like we got the award you no points button.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know it's on the soundboard, but
referencing Elon Musk, whose drastic cuts to federal budgets and staffing are prompting outrage, Warren said billionaires like Trump and Musk won't feel it when after-school programs are slashed, classes sizes go up, and student aid gets cut. It'll be working parents, students, and teachers who pay the price. You've done literally nothing for our children, you withered old fucking Chardonnay drinking hag.
In 50 years.
Fuck you and everybody around you, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, so it's been 45 years since 79. And they have no improvements.
Zero.
They have skyrocketing costs and personnel. Go fuck yourself. Listen, do I think this is going to negatively impact some of the students for the next couple of years? Yes. But guess what? You're going to have to figure it out and unfuck the whole thing. I'm sorry. Your whining and your complaining are not going to work.
Yeah, as the saying goes, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Well,
Correct.
I just realized something. These people like Elizabeth Warren and all of her friends, Randy Weingarten and all these others, they have contributed something. They've contributed poverty. They've contributed homelessness. They've contributed breaking up families. They've contributed single mother homes that end up with these children who have no hope, live in despair, and are going to end up just completely miserable. Many of them will end up attempting suicide, if not actually getting away with it.
Yeah.
These people redacted, okay?
Yeah.
The word for tonight is redacted. I can't say what I'm thinking because FBI special agents frickin' frack will get to put down their granola bars in despair and come knock on my door.
They've literally embezzled the hope of our future.
That's a perfect way to put it. They've embezzled the hope of our future.
Correct. That's exactly what they're doing.
I need to hang on.
Gotta write that down.
I'm writing that down.
I'm going to write it down too. Our hope and future. Okay, there we go.
That's craziness. That's absolutely. I seriously am thinking thoughts right now that would probably cause various agents from several agencies to knock on my door tomorrow and ask me exactly what it is I was talking about.
Let's just be honest here. When and if the two-way rifle range kicks off, the first 6 months to a year, historically, when you look at the examples, are usually conducted to settle scores.
The Revenge-a-thon.
And yeah, there's probably a whole bunch of people out there that are going to tune into the Revenge-a-thon and they'll be off to the races. And I am not going to lift a finger to intervene. I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to get the hell out of the way, but I'm not intervening.
Yeah, I can see that happening too because all the school boards and teachers that have been trunificating the children.
Correct.
It's not going to end well for them.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people out there who are really pissed off about that. And back in the day, before you feminized the men out there, children were a no-no. You didn't mess with children. You didn't put your hands on children, and you sure as hell didn't try to groom or use children because
I don't care who says what about ratings or whatever. I'm going to say this straight up because I am vehement about this. If you harm a child in front of me, I will end you. Period. That's it. That's the whole conversation. If you harm a child in front of me, I will end you. That's all there is to it.
I got you. But there's a lot of guys out there who have been feminized. They're like, well, maybe they know what they're talking about.
No, you're done.
Get the hell out of here.
Nope, you're sorry. Make millstones great again.
Yeah, and again, best interest of the child can't be proven in family court, and we can prove it all day long that it doesn't work with all the stats. And now we're looking at the education figures.
Yeah.
So
speaking of which, I want to run one more slide here before we kick into the super chat. Because this one is important. Wow. Thank you, Jimmy. This is public school rankings by state in 2025. Okay. For record, yellow is good. Yellow is good. Dark blue is bad.
All right.
Look at this. And this is generalized by state.
New Mexico and Louisiana are shit.
And Nevada.
Wow.
The whole, and I mean literally the whole South. Somehow, Michigan doesn't completely suck, which shocks me. But I know that if you focus this on Flint, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Saginaw, you'd have a totally different story. You'd absolutely have a different story. Arizona is 50th in the state or in the country. Louisiana is 49th.
So Arizona is the last.
Look at how blue and how telling that it's all blue. Look at how blue the entire United States of America is.
Wow.
That's public school rankings by state in 2025. This is what you put your children into if you put them into a public school. And I'm going to be honest, it just absolutely fucking sickens me. Education is a hot spot with me. It's a very big deal to me. I am active in my own community trying to get better education for our children, better reading, better writing, all of that stuff. I actually spend time in the real world, boots in the dirt, trying to change some of this stuff because it upsets me so fucking much because it's so unnecessary.
Correct.
So easy to fix. So easy to fix.
And throwing money at the problem obviously is not working.
Does nothing.
Yeah.
Does nothing. I could do this on a teacher's salary and make more progress than the entire Department of Education.
Well, this is a multifaceted problem. All right.
You're a multifaceted problem.
Well, for instance, they're going to have to figure out a way to bring the father back into the picture because you're always going to get better results if you have both parents in the equation.
Stop gearing society to split parents.
Correct. You're going to have to do something about these teacher unions. All right, that's got to get fixed. You have to bring the students that are detrimental to the teaching of other students in the school need to be expelled.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you have a child who's an absolute fucking savage, go fuck yourself. Pay for private school. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just going to happen too. You're just going to have kids that are shitty kids.
I got it.
It has always been that way. You know what? What I think, this is my personal idea. Kindergarten through 6th grade. Okay?
Uh-huh.
That's public school because by 6th grade, your kids are going to start to surface. Then you give them some tests. And if they pass some basic tests for reading and math and science and such things, they go on to junior high. And then at the end of junior high, 8th grade, there are a couple more tests. And from there, you're what? 14, roughly 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
If you are not suited to academia and you demonstrate that you are suited to the trades, you go into the trades. You start out as a young apprentice learning stuff. Your education is how many bricks does it take to build this dimension of a house by volume, or, that kind of thing. You start learning that stuff. You start learning the basics and the language of a trade. And then at 16, you start learning the physical aspects of the trade. And then at 18, you're a tradesman. You start in the trades as an apprentice tradesman. Why are we forcing kids to go through all of this education when clearly sometimes Bobby just wants to be a fucking plumber and Susie just wants to sew nice clothes or be a mom?
Yeah.
Why are we forcing kids down these roads? It's ridiculous.
They got to figure something out. That's all I got to say.
Not
I don't have all the answers, but I know that I can listen. By looking at that money graph, it's fucking broken beyond repair, and it needs to be shut the fuck down.
Let's make the money graph the last thing we see tonight before everybody gets shot in the head. I mean, before we start doing the super chats.
There it is.
That's the spending from 1970 to 2010. That's the number of employees.
Now, technically, the Department of Education didn't exist until 79.
Yep.
So those dotted lines in the beginning technically didn't matter.
They ruined education. They did not.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.